How's it going, gamers? Chongo here, and today I've got a gameplay commentary for you guys. The gameplay is of Warframe. I started playing a bit of this again and I found it kind of fun, and today's commentary topic is about something interesting that I suppose us as gamers, especially in this globalization, we kind of wonder why we have so many different prices when it comes to games. This article that I found was talking about how many hours a person from each country has to work on average to get a new price game. So I found it really interesting, and there was some bit iffy figures with it, to be honest. I mean, I looked at it and it said for someone who works in Australia, so myself, I would have to work 3.17 hours, and that would allow me to buy a brand new game at the price of about $88 Australian. So at first I thought, this is a bit off, that doesn't really make much sense to me, because at my personal wage, which isn't really a bad wage for a casual and someone that is of my age, it would take me about 4 and a bit hours to earn a game that was worth that much. But later I found out that the source of this graph that they have with all these different countries that basically say how many hours you'd have to work to get this game is it's not the median income of a person in the country, it's the average. So, for example, if you're in a country where there is a lot of wealthy people, they're going to be included in this, and then that's going to bring up the average. But it doesn't really work that way, because you can have a lot of rich people in one country. That doesn't mean everyone else is going to be at that certain point. So it doesn't really make much sense for them to do this. And also for the Australian part, they didn't include anyone who wasn't in a full-time job. So for example, I would be excluded from this data because of the fact that I'm a casual. If you're part-time or casual, you're not even included in it. So it seemed like making Australians basically allowed to pay that much money because of this graph, which obviously using median figures would be a lot easier, because median instead of average would work out better, showing what the majority of people's income is compared to the average, because you have so many outliers. So I think it's very interesting that someone is trying to paint this picture, and it's very interesting to see how much more different countries have to work to get a game. So for example, it said Denmark you'd have to work 2.6 hours to achieve a game, and I think that was the lowest on the list, closely followed by Australia. But as I said, the figures are out, so I'm not sure how far out they are for people in Denmark. But for Australia, I think they're definitely out, because, as I said, they didn't include part-time workers, and it wasn't really a medium, it was just the average. And one of the things that was very interesting is seeing that people in Poland had to work for 14.17 hours to achieve a game. Now, when you think about that, that's intense, that amount of work to do that. I mean, if you compare that just to your own country or Australia, for me personally, that's a lot of time that you'd have to put in to achieve a game that would be worth $80 Australian. In the Reddit thread where this article was posted, someone's actually gone through and done the medium income instead of the average, and they've shown that Poland, if it was done by medium income, would be working about 20.23 hours to achieve a game, so that's an intense amount even more. So it kind of sucks if you are in a place where you have to work more than 2 days to get the amount of money required to buy a game. I mean, if you compare that to all the other countries on this list, it's by far the most. I don't understand why they're still being charged that much. My guess is because of companies like EA, like one of my previous videos, where they have to keep that price high, because otherwise people will just buy digital copies from there. So it kind of sucks for places like that, but yeah, I don't really know what else they could do for a situation like that. The problem with something like this, though, is it's really hard to paint this kind of picture when you don't include basically everyone. If you're excluding people, automatically your information is just going to be worth less and less. And it's kind of hard as well to do something like this, especially when the cost of living for these countries all vary as well. So it can be completely different than what's shown here. But it is still an interesting graph, and I'd like you guys to go and check it out if you're interested in this, because it does look very interesting to see how much more different countries have to work, even if the figures aren't 100% correct. So anyway, I'll have links to the article as well as the Reddit thread down below if you guys want to go and check that out. They've got some really good information there about how much different people in different countries would have to pay to get games, or how much they'd have to work to get games. So anyway, this brings me into my commentary. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, and if you've got any comments about this, put it down below, and if you want to join the Gamerhood, just subscribe. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.